Peace and blessings, family. Buenos dias. Good morning. Hope all is well with y'all, man. Hope all is well. Y'all see the title of the video, Wakanda Forever. Wakanda Forever. That's what we talking about today. This is what I want to say. Who didn't know this was going to be the response? Is anybody surprised at this response? Everybody knew this would be the response. Everybody in this community. I went to go see the premiere with my homies. We went out, checked it out. My good brother Das had tickets for the premiere on Thursday. So we went to go see the premiere, man. We went to go watch the movie. And I'm going to first and foremost just start off by talking about what I liked about the movie. All right. I thought the acting was good. I thought the production was good. I thought the costumes was good. Um, so these are the things that I thought was good about the movie, right? Now, this is what I was thinking about today as I was laying down in my bed. I was thinking about my children. And I was thinking about how they would perceive the movie. I was like, man, I knew the predictable response of Judge Joe Brown, Angry Man, Courtney Michelle. Like, these are some of the people that I listen to. I knew what their response was going to be. And I knew what the response of most people in the manosphere was going to be. And this is what I want to say. Pop culture is not responsible for raising our children. So no matter what propaganda is put on the screen, this is the importance of having parents in children's lives. So we can't become too concerned or too worrisome when certain propaganda is being promoted. We understand that the propaganda is being promoted. The way that I choose to go about it is I choose to be a good father so that now I can show or I can talk to my children about the movie so they don't have to lean on their own understanding. And it's crazy when you talk to children, sometimes they be like, man, I didn't even believe that what I saw. You know what I mean? So it's very interesting. So I'm sitting there watching the movie or whatever, and we already know. I'm gonna go down the list. We already know what's going on in the movie. We know it was gonna be extremely matriarchal, right? Um, do they push the limits on it? Absolutely. They absolutely push the limits on the idea of a matriarchy. And I try to sit down and have a conversation with an 85er. For those of you that don't know what an 85er is, that's somebody that's dumb, deaf, and blind, and also choose to be dumb, deaf, and blind. But I was having a conversation with an 85er, and they was basically telling me, like, you know, I was being too critical, and it's about vibrations and good feelings and things of that nature. And I'm just sitting there like, what? they pumping out a propaganda to the people, and you should at least be able to see the propaganda. I'm not saying you gotta full-fledged agree, or I'm not saying you gotta throw the baby out with the bathwater, but you gotta see the play. You gotta see the play. So we know that the movie was gonna be extremely matriarchal, but what I was explaining to her was that it was so matriarchal that they totally suppressed manhood in the movie. They totally suppressed it. Like, they went really, really far. Like, there was no little boys working on science and in the STEM field. It was only girls that was working uh in the movie I'm talking about. The guys was like bumbling idiots. They had muscles, but their muscles was like not even that important. Like, it was just a movie centered around black women with the absence of black men. And I see the play, I know the play, but like I said, you talk to other people and they like, well, that's because of this, so that's because of that. Uh, I think she told me that the reason why the film went the way it went is because they didn't want another man to overshine T'Challa. And I said, that's an interesting perspective, just from the standpoint of one of the tropes that we hear all the time, which is only one black man can make it at a time in Hollywood. We always hear that, you know. So that was interesting that she said that. So yeah, I mean, like I said, the movie was extremely matriarchal. Now, let me tell you another movie that was extremely matriarchal that changed my mindset. It was Ghostbusters. And the way Ghostbusters changed my mindset is I had to watch my children watch the movie. I had to watch them watch it and see through their eyes. And they was just laughing the whole time. They thought it was a funny movie. And they wasn't too serious about nothing. Like, they didn't look at it as a political statement. They didn't try to walk away from it and think girl power, right? They just saw the movie and took it for what it was worth. And that was a very important lesson for me right then and there, because like sometimes we can politicize things too much. We can make things political that don't need to be political, because it's like sometimes it's like this. Let me put it like this because I think you can understand. Kyrie Irving posted on his page from Hebrews to Negroes, and nobody paid attention, or very few people paid attention. It wasn't until they brought drama, it wasn't until they started making him apologize, that it actually brought the movie to the day of light like it is now. Like, the movie is growing in popularity so much. And that's because they made the movie political. Kyrie Irving said he simply posted the movie because he was looking at his name. His name means Yahweh, and he went on a journey and he seen a movie and he was like, hey, let me post this movie. But their reaction brought more eyeballs to the movie. Same thing when you see like R. Kelly and stuff like this. These guys were selling albums, but as soon as they said no more R. Kelly, it flew off the shelf. His streams went through the roof. Same thing with Dr. Seuss. Soon as they said they was going to take Dr. Seuss off the shelves. And sometimes in the red pill community, we do this where we'll bring attention to something, and the attention that we bring to it, whether it's negative or positive, makes more people want to go see it now that you politicize the issue. I think the best way to boycott a lot of times is via silence, not saying anything, ignoring something. Because when you get into media and things like that, negative attention is still good attention in the eyes of media. That's why 50 Cent told Chameleonaire he missed a big opportunity because 50 Cent threw a shot at Chameleonaire, and Chameleonaire was like, damn, why he come at me like that? He didn't know that he was trying to give him a second run, a third run. He was putting his name back out there again, right? So negative publicity and positive publicity is all good publicity when you get into the media business. So sometimes when we take these issues that we don't like, or these movies that we don't like, and we get on and we talk about them, we bring more attention to it than it really deserved. If you didn't like the movie, or if you're not going to support the movie, it's good. It's okay to be quiet and just go on about your life. So I already knew that the response was predictable. Anybody that's in this space knew what the response would be to the Black Panther movie. For those of you that don't know, I went to go see the premiere on Thursday, thanks to my big homie Das. You know, me and the fellas went out, seen it on Thursday at the Fox Theater in Atlanta. And I recommend you go watch the movie so that you get to draw your own conclusions, right? I thought the acting was good. I thought the production was good. The costumes was good. And I thought the sceneries, like I said, I thought the production was good on the movie. Now, like I said, I think that the movie was highly matriarchal. So that's like one of those things you gotta, you know what I mean, you gotta work through when you watch the movie. The fact that it was a matriarchy and it was no men to be found anywhere doing anything of significance, right? Most it was like they were bumbling idiots. They actually brought the comic relief, which is what I want to talk about next. One of the things that I did not like about the movie is that the women were super serious the entire movie. Like it was like maybe two or three um expressions that women had in the movie. One was sad, the other one was serious, and the other one was masculine. It was like a lot of grieving in the movie. I almost went to sleep during the first 20 minutes of the movie. And so it was just like, damn, like I sort of look at it like how I used to look at my teachers in school and stuff, right? It would be like your female teachers will always have to overcompensate and be extra serious to let you know that they're not a pushover. And I think a lot of times when as you refine your taste buds, uh, it's like you start noticing, like, man, a lot of times instead of women just being natural and being feminine, when you try to put a woman in a man's role, a lot of times women overcompensate and they do things that men don't do, right? They like the women were serious, they were very cold. And so I just noticed that. And I noticed like that most of the humor that was in the movie, it was humor from men, even the other male the guy from the other planet. I don't be keeping. I'm really not a Marvel type. I'm a field nigga. I be out in the streets. I like touching the concrete. I don't even watch Marvel movies like that. But whatever kingdom he was from that was underwater, you know what I mean? Him and the other guy from Wakanda, they was like the only people that provided real comic relief, which was good because the women were just ultra serious. You know what I'm saying? The next thing that I saw in the movie that I wanted to point out is the women being under siege, right? And I try to talk to my 85 of friends about this, but you know, this is one thing for a movie to be matriarchal, but then it's another thing for the movie to be emasculating. See, like, let's say you got a matriarchy, but then you got men and you have them step up whenever it's wartime, right? Like a male lion, right? The women go out and hunt too, but if it's another lion coming, you have the men step up. Well, our women are under siege and there's no men stepping up. It's just like the women doing everything on their own. You know what I mean? They fighting, and it's that part of the movie is emasculating because you don't have any men showing up anywhere to do anything of any real significance when it comes to protecting their women in their village, in their community, in the vibranium, and all of that. Um, we we know that if we say it was matriarchal, every important character in Wakanda was a woman, right? Um, so it is what it is. Let me see what else I have here. Oh yeah, black women fighting with men from other nations. Like, what's going on, folks? I'm just rambling and shit. How y'all doing, man? I went to go check out this movie with my people, and I'm just breaking it down. You know what I'm saying? It is everything we thought it would be, you know. So it is what it is. So everything outside of Wakanda was patriarchal. This is basically what I'm trying to say. Like, it wasn't just that we had a matriarchy. It was like we was the only people in the movie allowed to have a matriarchy, right? And so, and in this fight that the matriarchy was involved in with the patriarchy of other men, what they was basically saying, the underlying message is that there's no need for muscle. We have reached a point in civilization where there's no need for brawn, there's no need for muscle. Everything can be solved with STEM, with machines, with technology. Everything can be solved like that. We don't need men, and we don't need muscle, right? So I thought that was very interesting because once again, this is this is a fairy tale. This is a fairy tale. Um, and other men was allowed to have machines and brawn, right? So it is what it is. And then the last thing I noticed was at the end of the movie, it was like a little baby T'Challa, right? He had a baby that they presented at the end. That was almost like the comic relief that men provided throughout the film. Little T'Challa was like the masculine relief. It was like, okay, we gave y'all all this feminism, the whole movie. Now we're gonna give you some masculinity, right? Some hope, right? But here's my thing. Even with the first Black Panther, more like having a matriarchy in is a very destructive message when you understand what it is, right? But another destructive message that's always sent out is that Black men can't work together, right? It can only be one of us at a time. We really we can't form together and do anything of real significance, even if that means that our nation state is at stake, right? So there's no real support system of other Black men behind a Black man that has a significant role, right? So even when a Black man is in a significant role, he still, most of his support system is the women. And this is a certain type of messaging. This is why people, when they come into these spaces, it's a lot of things that they have to realize that they didn't realize before. For example, it's so many Black men who basically praise and worship Black women. Like, they praise and worship the ground that Black women walk on, especially Black men from the conscious community. And the reason why this becomes a problem is because a lot of times in praising the Black woman, they bypass the Black man. And I'm not saying you should praise the man or the woman, but I had a friend, to give you a very concrete example. I had a friend, and I have a friend, and we go to church and things like that. And I let him know, I said, man, I know you always talk about, your relationship with your mother, but you also need to have a relationship with your father. You need to because he grew up in foster care and not having a mother, he feels like that impacted him, so he's always looking for that motherly figure. And I'm telling him, don't just look for a motherly figure. I look for a fatherly figure, because there's certain things that you need as a man that you're not going to get from women. It's just not in the makeup of a woman to be able to give you that. And so we have a lot of men out here that are going to women for things that they can only get from men, right? Like I said, even when you're looking at this movie, it's very cold because the yin and the yang, men are yang, women are yin. Women are colder than men by nature. Women are cold. So the warmth that a man is looking for, a lot of times, you're not going to get that warmth from a woman. You're not going to get that love from a woman. But this is what you call brotherly love or manly love or bromance. That's, you can only get that from men. And one of the tragedies in the black community is that we don't have the type of love and affection for men. I'm talking men to men now. We don't have that type of love and affection. So what ends up happening is we form these gangs, we form these alliances with people based on fake love and like matriarchal vengeance. It's cold blooded to kill somebody. It's cold blooded to step back, pull out a gun, and shoot somebody. That's like a direct result of having mommy issues. That's a direct result of a lack of masculinity. The way that most black men handle conflict comes from them being raised by their mother. They're extremely matriarchal in the way that they handle conflict, right? So without being able to, if I form a gang and you form a gang, both our gangs should be able to come together to build a community. This just may be my gang over here because the neighborhood that we grew up in, and this is your gang over here because of the neighborhood you grew up in. But but when you see that somebody tells you, if you want to be a part of this gang, you got to take out somebody that's in that gang. That means that's fake love. That's not real love. That's cold-blooded. A lot of men say, man, the first time I started selling drugs, my mom gave me my first pack. My mom turned me out. My mom told me to get out here and get some money. So I'm not saying that, everything about a woman is evil. But what I am saying is that without a man there, without having men uh, present, and without having a strong male support system where men actually love each other and understand what real love is, you cannot build a strong community. When our communities come under siege like the Black Panther, which they already have been and they already are, they're going to continue to be taken over because the community can't be what it's going to be if the men don't step up to the plate. You don't get a community without men, right? So yeah, man, like I said, most people reaction to the movie is extremely predictable, but I think you should go watch it. I think you should watch it. Uh to see what you think about it yourself. Like I said, when I let my daughters watch it, they thought it was great. I'm sorry, when I let them watch Ghostbusters, they thought it was great. And I didn't like Ghostbusters because I looked at it from a different perspective. But my message is, we have to stop blaming pop culture for the education of our children, because your children should be able to go watch a movie like Black Panther and come back home and realize that it was a fantasy. That's your job as a parent, to let your children know the difference between reality and a fantasy, and to be able to make the sacrifice and be responsible. And if your children ever confuse fantasy with reality, you chastise them. You do whatever you have to do to bring reality back to the forefront. So if you see your son or your daughter watching rap, listening to rap music, and they think that this rap lifestyle is a real lifestyle, you might have to take them out of school. You might have to homeschool them. You might have to. What lengths will we go to save our children? That's the real question. What 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 measures will we go through to save our children? Because at the end of the day, if you saying I can't control my son, I can't control my daughter, and you blame it on the music, now you could control them. You just didn't want to sacrifice something that you needed to sacrifice so that they wouldn't have that exposure, or so that you could spend more time with your children. So I think, like I said, on both ends, man, it's a situation where it's too many people playing the blame game because they don't want to step up. And it's too many people that's meddling in other people's households. My job is not, make sure you hit the like button, man. I got 2 folks in here. Y'all definitely important, man. Hit the like button, drop a comment. Did you see the movie? Did you watch the movie? Do you plan on going to see the movie? You know what I'm saying? Let me know. Talk to me. Uh I definitely need your energy. But yeah, man. So it's very interesting too when you talk to people that are not red pill, that don't have the mindset, just to see how they saw the movie. You know, I've been at this point in my life for a long time where I'm a very zen type of person. A lot of, like, I have one good friend, Dwayne, he calls me like a zen master. I'm like one of those type of individuals where, like, I'm not gonna be super offended if you don't think what I think, or if you're not in a place where I'm at in my life, right? Everybody's on their journey up the mountain. Some people been up the mountain and they on their way back down. Some people been up twice. You see them going up, you think it's their first time going up. They've been up there 5 times already. They know the way, right? Some people just beginning their journey. So everybody's at a different place in their journey. Um and like I think that it's important to have a level of grace and humility, and to extend that to people that refuse to see things in the way you think that you should see them. Like, I was listening to Angry Man, and he was like, I don't like people. And I was like, well, it's one of those situations where I know many people that feel like Angry Man, where they like, I don't like people. And I've been in that position myself before. And the only way that I was able to overcome it was by being in this program called Landmark. And Landmark talks about creation. See, a lot of us, there's a verse in the Bible. It says that the dead know nothing. Okay? Nothing and everything are the same. So the dead know nothing, and the living that know everything are dead. The living people that think they know everything, they are dead. Being a know-it-all. And what is the symptom? We call it a racket. A racket is is a is a complaint that you always have that keeps you in a circle. It keeps you in a circle, unable to create anything. What is a racket? It's something. How do rackets manifest? And you having to be right or avoiding being wrong, and you having to dominate or avoid domination, when you blame, when you justify. These are rackets. And you can see that a lot of brothers are red pill when it comes to relationships, but they're not red pill when it comes to personal development, because they have knowledge that they want to share with people, but they get very disgruntled when people don't see things the way that they see them. But the goal of us speaking to people is not to get people to see things the way that we see them. The goal is to see things the way that they see them and see what's possible for their life through their communication. The goal is to create, being every day is a day to create. And when you are creating, there's a level of discovery. You don't know what's going to come out. You don't know what's going to come out. But if you're not in that creation mode, if you're not in that discovery mode, then you're not alive. Your spirit is not enlivened. You're not happy. You are in a position where you like, I gotta be right. This gotta be wrong. And when you talk to people, that's the energy that you come in with. And that's why you don't like people. Because, bro, did you see what happened in 2020? Did you see what happened in 2021? People are literally fighting with their family members. People they've been knowing their whole life. They bringing their character into question. You've been knowing them your whole life. You bring their character into question because they don't feel the same way you feel about a mask and a vaccine. What about those days they fed you? What about those days y'all read the Bible? What about those days they put clothes on your back? But because of the spirit of righteousness, it's like a cancer. It causes people to divide up from one another for frivolous reasons. And so when it comes to Wakanda Forever or any situations that you hear me speaking about, I come to give you game. If you at a place in your life where you can't receive that game, it's all good. But if you at a place in your life where certain things are resonating that I'm saying, then it's all good. And we can continue to build on the things that's resonating and figure out exactly what it is that you are trying to create for your life. This was the beauty of a Kevin Samuels, where one of the genius things that Kevin Samuels did that didn't get a lot of credit was he made people go into creation mode. Because when you go into creation mode, you take a position by default. He said, do you want to be married? Do you want a husband? If you said no, then it was no need to talk. But if you said yes, because you saying you want a husband and that's what you are creating for your life, why don't you have one? Let's talk about it, right? Something was on the line. A lot of times when we have these conversations in this space, there's nothing on the line for a person because they haven't really told you what they up to in their life, what they create and what they really want. So then you just end up arguing about ideologies instead of figuring out how you can move a person from one space to the next space. And we live in a day and time where people definitely need to be moved. People need to be moved. They need to stagnant energy is not good energy. But you got people, once again, that's going around in circles. They stuck in place. because they are stuck in place, their life is not moving, and which is common sense. But the reason their life is not moving is because they're not creating anything. Nothing is at stake. Nothing's at stake. In our life, we always got to make sure that we have something at stake, that we have a dog in the fight. If we don't have something at stake, if we don't have a dog in the fight, then our life deflates. And so this is why it's like, man, when we get into these predictable conversations and you already know what people going to say about certain things, it's like not even exciting. You know, it might scratch a little itch if you want to listen to somebody so you can have them reaffirm your position. But in terms of them actually saying something to like open up saying something that can move your life along, it's not a lot of people that are doing that in the space, right? But so yeah, man, that's my little rant about telling people whether or not they should go see the movie and all of this stuff about the matriarchy. You know, once you know, you know. And I think that for a lot of times that's enough. Like, to me, the way that I see the red pill, I see it like putting on glasses. I see it like either you got on blue glasses or you took your glasses off. I don't see red pill and blue pill as a relationship that you in, and if you in relationships, and like, no. They call it a 44 dive. Can you see it? Can you see it? Can you distinguish the difference between a pass play and a run play? You know, if you can distinguish certain things, if you can see certain things, I know blue pill men that love Woman King. They love uh they love Wakanda. I know men that love what's going on. You got Judge Joe Brown having a debate with Michael Dyson and Michael Eric Dyson, and he's extremely matriarchal. He told us as men we need to step back and let the women come to the forefront. And I thought this was very interesting because Stacey Abrams blamed black men for not getting a vote. With all of these movies coming out, with Michael Eric Dyson. So that the fact that Stacey Abrams blamed black men, it just lets you know that you can do all that talking and men just not going to go for what they not going to go for. And a lot of black men not going for it no more. But there are a certain amount of black men that are matriarchal. They believe that women can run the ship. And at the end of the day, those guys exist. You know, I know guys that run their household every day. They are men's men, but they're matriarchal, and they don't even understand how they undercut their own self by having these two conflicting points of view, and how that has a lot to do with how they conduct their day-to-day life. But nevertheless, this is how they exist in the world. They are blue pill, but at the same time, they're masculine, right? My father's one of them. My dad absolutely loved Woman King, right? He can't wait to go see Wakanda. You know what I mean? And I talked to my dad about different things, and my dad is almost 60. He don't care about nothing that I'm saying, right? He don't care. You see? So can me and my father not coexist because he's not quote unquote red pill? No, we can coexist. There's so many things that I can learn from my father. There's so many things that he can learn from me. And so that's why I said I don't think every situation is a throw a baby out with the bathwater. I don't think every situation is a either you, if once you choose this, it means that you can't deal with this. Going back to Angry Man, I think that's what creates this level of hatred. I think that's what creates this level of um the breakdown in the community like that. I don't think as men, I don't think this is the way men should think. As a man, you sitting down at the round table with other men, and y'all may have differences, but you have to find common ground. If you don't have nothing but one or two things that you can unite on, you have to find that and unite on it. Me telling you not to go watch the movie, or people that's telling you not to go watch the movie, it's like, to me, it's just a dead, it's like it doesn't even, I don't even know, you know what I mean? It's just one of those. Once again, I'm not mad at those people because that's where they are in their development. That's where they are in their development. Oh, this is what I want to tell you if you on with me, right? You may not know this about me, but I've been investing in stocks since I was 18 years old. And, I'm not here to give you any type of investment advice or anything like that. I just want to share with you what I have invested in recently. Okay. So recently, I just picked up two companies that was at a 52-week low that I thought were very strong companies based on the fact that they got a moat. Shout out the Wall Street Trapper, based off of their earnings. And I like to buy companies when they at their 52-week low. I like to buy companies when they at their cheapest, because if you know value, then you go get the value. You go, if I told you they had polo shirts and you knew they was real polos and they was selling those polos for $15, first thing you're going to think in your mind is, yo, I can go get 30 polos and flip those joints, go get 30 more, flip those. That's how I look at stocks. That's how I look at investing, period. That's how I look at business. I do believe in buying good companies that but I do like to buy companies that are undervalued, right? Undervalued. So last week I bought Verizon, because Verizon was at a 52-week low. And I also bought Albertsons because Albertsons was at a 52-week low. Now, I travel with my family from the East Coast to the West Coast, and I realized that Albertsons is a part of a conglomerate, the Kroger conglomerate. So I was just like, man, I don't think grocery stores going nowhere anytime soon, and I don't think Verizon Wireless is going anywhere anytime soon. I don't think that the growth of these companies is going to be exponential, but I think they give great dividends. I think they give great dividends, and I think that they are good value plays. So go check them out. If you don't, I'm not a trader. I'm an investor. If you don't buy stocks, you don't have a brokerage, cool. But if you buy stocks and you got a brokerage, go put in the ticker symbols, right? You can go online and see them. Albertson, I forget that ticker symbol, but Verizon is VZ. And you put that ticker symbol in, and you can go look at the data, go look at the financials of the company and everything like that. I should put up a cheat sheet for it, but maybe I'll do that next time. But yeah, so just wanted to give y'all brothers that, or y'all sisters, whoever's on with me, man, peace and blessings, man. Y'all drop a comment, show some love to your boy. I definitely love getting on live and connecting with y'all. And I'm here for the conversation. But yeah, so did you see the movie? Have you seen the film? If you have not seen it, you know what I mean? Like, do you plan on going to see it? That's the main thing. That's the main thing. It's a also too. I just started watching um this documentary on Netflix called "Is That Black Enough for You?" Uh I like it. I think it's a good documentary. And the reason what even just made me think about that is, if you want to see movies where black men are in these lead roles, I think you should go back to the black exploitation movies. I think you should really go through there. I think if you go look at this documentary, it'll bring up a lot of old black exploitation movies, and I think you would like that. So that's another great point. If you're going to take something away from somebody, where would you send them to? Because sometimes when we have a problem with something, we know that there's an alternative, but we don't tell people what the alternative is. If you want to see movies that are patriarchal, a lot of black exploitation movies were patriarchal, right? They had a man as the lead role. I love the Mac. The Mac is like one of my favorite movies. Cotton Comes to Harlem, Foxy Brown, Shaft, um, uh, Superfly. That's another one. I love Superfly. Um, with Ron O'Neal. I watched these growing up, you know what I'm saying, coming up. And yeah, like it's it may not be no new movies out that's patriarchal, but we do have some old movies that's patriarchal. I didn't even go see, was that the Mac that came out with they shot it in Atlanta? I think they remade the Mac, but that movie looked like it was trash, right? I with this one, with the let me see. Nah, it wasn't called the Mac. Was it Superfly they just came back out with? Yeah, Superfly. Yeah, I just didn't think it was gonna be a good movie, so I just skipped it. I was like, I'm not going to see this trash. I do think the writing could have been better in Wakanda. I didn't think the writing was that intricate, but usually when you're trying to erase men out, this whole script is not going to be intricate anyways. It's not going to be nuanced because you just you not, it's out of order. But even though I thought the script could have been written better, I didn't think the movie was like corny. Like I just thought Superfly would be a cornball movie. I didn't think it would be a cool movie like the original Superfly, you know. Um so yeah. Also, too, I have to say that I thought that this Nas album, KD3, I'm gonna do a ranking on it. I'm gonna put up my rankings on it. But I would give it out of 10 out of 10, I would give it a strong 6. Yeah, strong 6. It was like it was more than 3 songs on there that I really, that WTH, SMH, I was like, "No, Nas, no." Um and some songs that I thought was okay, I thought they was like concept. I'm a Nas fan. I'm a Nas fan, right? So I'm talking about Nas as a fan, not as like I'm not like 21 Savage, right? So my thing with Nas is sometimes Nas does not, he gives us the same concept over and over and over and over. Like First Time, right? On the album. That's like a refurbished concept. And I've heard it on like 2 or 3 different Nas albums. I definitely think I heard it on KD too. When is the first time you heard Real G? When is the first time? And I'm like, I don't need no more. When is the first time you heard Nas songs? Even though the song was okay, if that was like the first time he did that concept, it would be like, okay, cool. So sometimes I think with Nas, he can get a little stale on the concepts, and the concepts is like the same concept. Uh, but the songs that I did like that stood out to me, I like Legit. Legit was good. I like I'm on Fire. That was good. I like the very first song on the album. I thought the album was good. And those are the three that I really stuck with. And I like Done. I like Done. Done. I like that one. Um, I like the beat on that one. It's a refurbished concept, you know. Some of those things that he's saying was like the same. So yeah, with that Nas album, man, I just was like, it's a six. It's a six. I think out of all the four albums that he made, if I had to rank it, it would be my least favorite. I think a lot of people sleep on KD1. My favorite is Magic, KD2, KD1, and then KD3. That's how I rank them, right? That's how I rank my Nas albums. So it is what it is, man. I'm a fan, so I go support Nas anyways, cause it's just when you're a fan, you're a fan. And I could go through Nas' entire catalog, you know what I mean? And also let me say this, because I'm a fan of Nas, uh, I'm one of those type of individuals that I'm okay with not liking the body of work at the moment and just letting something sit with my spirit and just over time, right? So even though I don't like it right now, that don't mean I'm not gonna say it's trash. I'm gonna just say I don't like it, because nothing Nas put out is trash. It's just about whether you like it or not. Whether that, like King's Disease, no, not King's Disease. Street's Disciple. Street's Disciple had a certain energy to it, and if you wasn't in that energy, Street's Disciple went right over your head. But if you ever got in that energy, especially like if you about to get married, he got good joints on there. He got Virgo on there with Dougie Fresh. Um, he got the song with Maxwell. He has the one about These Are Our Heroes. So going back looking at the album and how it aged over time, I really liked how Streets Disciple aged over time. I thought it aged well. So so that's when you're a fan, that's how I am, like I'll go back and just keep listening and just see if it's something I'm missing, right? I'll be like, man, let me go listen to this Nas album and see if it's anything that I'm not seeing or I'm not getting, or psh, some of my favorite MF Doom songs. I was sleeping and then I was like, oh my God, this is on the Food album. Now I'm like, that album from top to bottom is pure. It's a classic album. The one he did with Mad Villain, like, it was like, no, I don't like this song. I don't like that song. And now I like every song. So I'm one of those type of individuals that if I'm a fan, I take my time to digest the artwork. And it's if I say I don't like it, I don't like it, but that don't mean I'm not gonna ever like it. And it's the same thing with these movies and stuff too, man. When it comes to dissecting artwork, it's you don't know how things will age, right? You don't know how things will age. Some things age very well, and some things they get stale. They don't age good. It's like, I'll be honest, like, to me, a lot of Jay-Z music don't age as well as Nas music. It was like if you was in that time period, it was like, yeah, yeah. But in terms of like going back, you're like, oh, we not in those times no more. You know, where I think Nas, certain artists like Nas, Black Thought, Most Def, they focus on making timeless music. This is what they say too. Like Most Def put out No Fear of Time. So some artists, including myself, when they go in the booth, their goal is not necessarily to make something for today. It's something that they can make that you could play years down the line and be like, damn, like you still talking about a rhyme that he wrote from years ago. And like I said, I love Jay-Z too. I just find that some of the stuff like that he made, that it just did, it's like I just don't want to hear it. Like, you know what I mean? Like all the way down to the beat selection, right? Um, so it is what it is, man. I just wanted to come on and rap. I heard everybody talking about this Wakanda Forever. Like I said, went to the premiere with the homies, man. Enjoyed myself. And if it's something you want to go watch, I suggest you go watch it. It ain't that bad. It ain't that damn bad, right? It ain't that bad. It give you something to do. You know what I mean? Take your little shooby doo, get you some popcorn. You know what I mean? Let the recline the theater seats back and just enjoy the movie, right? And it ain't nothing but 2 hours of your life. It ain't the end of the world. So y'all, to all my red pill family out there, get that stick out your ass. Stop being so goddamn stringent. Everything is not. We're not in a war. Stop acting like we in a war. You know what I mean? Anywho's, who I got on with me, man? I'm about to sign off, but I would love to know who been rocking with me this whole time. Peace.